up, everybody? So listen, I wanted to try something a little bit different today. Yes, I'm still steelhead fishing. It's the right time of year to do it. But I'm actually going, if you want to like the video, you can, I don't care. But my goal is to get as many comments as possible. I'm just curious for a couple of reasons. One, I feel like I do all the talking, and maybe I get a little comment here and there, but I really like a comment. I know as fishermen, we all kind of think that everything we know is like the only way. At least I do a lot of times. I kind of get like pinpoint focused on my method. But at the same time, I'm teachable, and I hope you guys are too. So as long as the comments are respectful for everybody, I'm down with that. I want to see how many comments I can get for that reason, so we can share information as far as techniques. I don't share river names or any of that stuff, but share your techniques and your thoughts behind them. Throughout this video, I'm going to try my best to do more of that, like not just saying what I'm doing, but kind of trying to say my why, like why is it that I would do it this way. And give me a little bit of a critique. Tell me if you agree or disagree. Jump in there, make some comments. Part of it's too is a little bit of an experiment. I'm curious to know, you know, typical video gets 5 to 10 comments maybe. I'm curious to know if 50 to 100 comments would maybe blow up the video. I don't know. I'm just kind of curious on that aspect too, if that would actually make a difference. So go watch this with me, check it out, go fishing with me today, and I'll give you some opinions of mine and why I do what I do instead of just what do I do. So thanks for watching. Tell me what you think. It seems like with fishing, there's always like something called a point of diminishing returns. It's actually a business term related to some kind of amount of effort you do in business to the point where you do it more than it actually gives you any advantage for doing it. So in fishing, my number one point of diminishing returns is water. Let's talk about water for a second and why. So when you're watching the river levels, the water flow is super important. If you don't have enough water, the fish don't come up into the rivers. If you have too little water, the fish are they just like stay down and wait for the water to hit. I don't know why it's a signal to them, but that's what makes them swim upstream. If you get too much water though, that point of diminishing returns, if there is too much water, it makes it too difficult to fish. So keep that in mind. The reason I say that is we just had this discussion, a buddy of mine and I, we were out fishing and we were talking about big water and high water, and how a lot of times I prefer when the water comes down a little bit so there's not as much activity in the river. The reason I prefer that is because the river gets shallower, and you can see down to the bottom of the river on all the shallow spots, except for those little deep trenches or those deep slots, and that's where the fish like to congregate midday. Once the sun comes up and everybody can see the fish, they'll work their way into those little hidey holes, and that's where for me it's easier to fish in that type of water, because you don't have to cast and cover every inch of that river looking for the fish. You know right where they are, you just got to get them to bite. So water is my number one thing, but keep in mind, if the water is too low, that's great, because then there's these tiny little spots for fish to hide, but the fish don't live in the river when there's enough water. So again, so you kind of have a little balancing act trying to figure out if you want to fish high or low water, or where's the sweet spot for you. I usually watch the river levels, and the river levels are going to tell me where I want to fish based on how much water is coming through the river at the time. Certain spots are better to fish than others. So that's the kind of thing that you just get from experience, learning which spots is good to fish during those times. All right, I'm gonna get to fishing here. While I'm putting my bait, getting my bait all figured out, I'm gonna do bobber and egg first this time. Last time I was here, I started out with a bead, so we're just going to change it up. I wanted to talk about leader length. Okay, now almost every fishing video you watch, they're going to say from your main line swivel right here down to your hook, they recommend it's 2 to 3 feet. 24 to 30 inches, 36 inches is kind of a very common length. Now, let's talk about the why. In my opinion, the why is you don't want the fish to see your weights and all your other gear up above. You just have this tiny little thin leader down to your presentation. And the idea is that it won't scare them away as bad because they can't see all the other stuff that's up above. Well, that would indicate that the longer leader is required or needed if you're fishing water that's clean and clear, right? But there's, like I said with everything else, there's a point of diminishing returns, because why don't people have a 5 to 7 to 10 to 12 foot leader? Well, there's some reasons why. One is hard to cast. The other is you want to get your presentation down into the lowest water column. I like to call it the 6 inches to 1 foot under, right above the gravel. That's where the fish hang out. That's where they want to eat. So if you get too long of a leader, all of your presentation will start going up and down, and it'll fluctuate, and it won't be down where you want it in that bite zone. You don't want it to be out of that bite zone, because then you're not fishing. So you kind of have to look at the water. Like today, the water's really clean and clear, so I should probably have a longer leader, but don't want to go too long. All right, first cast. Let's see what we got. Ooh, man, this is a new line I got. It's pretty smooth. First cast was butter. You see, I don't know if you guys can see my bobber. It's super easy for me to see because of the bright green corky that I have on the top. Honestly, I can't even see the bobber because the bobber is orange, and for me, green's easier to see. Now on that cast, I wasn't dragging bottom at all, so I'm going to scoot it about 6 inches deeper. See, there's dragging bottom now. Bobber's tilting a little bit, and it's going right into that lowest possible water column where those fish hang out. Yeah, it's almost too deep, in my opinion. I don't want it to be dragging through there. Not when it's low water. When it's high water, you want to drag it because that'll help slow it down. Oh, it's complicated. Hard to explain everything all at once. Spend the whole time talking and not fishing. But I'm going to give this line an A+. It's called J-Braid. I bought it on Amazon, actually. I put the 50-pound test on my reel. It's my level wind here. Comes out really smooth, casts good, retrieves nice. It doesn't have a weird, like, gravelly feel to it. Yeah, give it an A+ so far. And I can see it all the way in the water, all the way down to my bobber. Just wanted to pause for all my talking for just a second and give you a chance to think about this. This is a good time to pause the video if you want to, like, maybe share a pro tip of your own, or maybe comment on something I've already talked about. The other thing I wanted to say, kind of give you a little background here. The reason that I started watching YouTube videos, I mean, I was laid up on the couch. I just had knee surgery. They cut my knee off and put a new knee. It's all fake and metal. So I had no choice but to sit there, and I was bored. But I got invested and I got interested in watching the videos. I really enjoyed some of different people's contents. And I started wanting to make comments. I couldn't subscribe, I couldn't comment or do any of that unless I was able to, like, log into YouTube. it's kind of a pain in the butt. Like, I like to watch YouTube like on the television because of the big screen, but you can't comment on the TV. At least I haven't figured out how to do that, so I have to log in and use my phone to make comments. But once you do that, it's pretty easy. And if you're subscribed to my channel, it's easy to find me, find the video that you want to comment on, and jump on there, make a quick comment. It takes about a minute. But yeah, give me some comments, some feedback. The other thing I was going to talk about that I think is interesting, actually, let's do it like this. I'm going to ask you guys the question and see your opinion. I'm not even going to tell you my opinion, but why is it that fish hide and spend time around big rocks and boulders? What does the structure provide for them that they're drawn to? So tell me in the comments what you think. I'll tell you in my next video what I think, or maybe I'll even respond in the comments and tell you how I feel about it. So keep watching. All right guys, I switched to bead fishing. Same hole, just trying a couple beads through there, see if I can make something happen with a bead. Sometimes that small, subtle presentation that gets those fish going better than a big heavy-duty bait. But I don't know, my opinion is it's pretty close to 50-50. A lot of other people, that's all they do is fish beads. Not me though. I'm still trying to force myself to use them because I've gotten so many fish catching eggs. Maybe you guys could tell me in the comments why people would fish the beads. In my mind, I'm thinking it's just the ease of, you know, no mess. I don't have stinky eggs, fingers, and all that kind of crap. But give me your opinion. What do you think? Let's see if we can catch a fish right here. I mean, that's where they would be. Just got to get one to bite. Man, it's hard to see that bobber. I don't have a big green corky on the top of it like I do on my bobber rod. All right, I think we're moving. I'm walking between fishing holes. I'm gonna go over a couple more thoughts on the steelhead fishing tactics and techniques. Let's talk about drag. The reason I'm bringing this up is because, man, I think how you set your drag on your fishing line is probably one of the more important things to consider. So I personally set it differently if I'm using a level wind versus a spinning reel. With a spinning reel, I want that drag to be pretty close to exactly where I want that drag to be when I'm fighting the fish, and not with a level wind. I want the level wind's drag to be looser. Now here's the reason why. If I do get a fish that's hot and he's taking me hard, pushing me downriver with his just power, I don't want that drag to cause me to lose him. And that split second it takes sometimes to go and reach over and change the drag, you could lose a fish that way. Plus, a lot of times people they tighten their drags way too much, and that's how they lose fish. I'm included in that. Okay, so with the level wind, there's an advantage there. Pretty safe to say you can use your thumb a little bit without getting hurt to kind of give a little boost to that drag when you really need it. And then you take your thumb off of that spool when you need to just let the fish be in charge for a minute. You don't want to lose them. So in that regards, I like a little bit of a looser drag on my level wind. Obviously until the very end where I need to have full control of the fish. And at that point it's a do or die. You just have to tighten up your drag a little bit so you don't have them running off on you every time you try to pull them on the shore. Yeah, and the reason that I don't have a looser drag with the spinning reel is because the drag is on the top of the spool. So if you want to adjust that, it's hard to adjust while you're reeling. I guess it's the same way with both, but like if I want to try to set the hook and I have it actually not pay out on the drag, I don't want to do that on a spinning rod because I mean, I don't know how to do that really. I guess you could grab the spool somehow and with a fingertip and try to tighten the drag. Normally on a spinning reel, about half of my hook sets are going to be when it's past me on the river flow, on the drift. And at that case, I've got my bail open. So if I wanted to do a little quick hook set, it's all finger. And on a loose drag, that could cut my finger, like cut all the meat off the bone. Because if that drag doesn't hold, then that line is slicing through my hand. So I don't want that. So I guess that's probably one of the bigger reasons why I like level winds better, the bait casting type of pole and reel, is because I can use my thumb on that spool and add very quick and easily. I can add a little bit of extra pressure on that drag. Anyway, tell me what you guys think. Sorry, I'm just getting long-winded here. All right, see if we can, there's a fish down there we can get a repeat from the other day when I lost him. Let's see, I don't know. I'm putting that thing right down the hatch, right in the strike box. That'll be right in that guy's living room, right there. Living room and kitchen. Man, stuck up fish, should be biting that. Guess it only happens when you don't expect it to happen, huh? Jeez, look at that, that's perfect. I'm already pretty deep. I don't know if I like that. It's a deep business. Deeper just means I lose my gear. Let's see. Looks like I'm dragging, obviously. So I'm well into the depth column, I think. Come on. Here, fishy. Alright, one more up there on that deeper spot. God, it's so fishy right there. It should be hooking one. Okay, I don't know if you can see right on the tip of my my rod there, there's a bobber on the other side of the river. Trust me, I'm so tempted to go get it, but that far side, if you can see right there, it's a darker color, like a dark green. Right inside of that is more of a brown. Maybe you can see it better if I go up high, but yeah, right in there. To me, it just seems like it's deeper. There's a nice slot that goes through there on the far side. I think it's worthy of a fish being sitting in there, so I'm gonna give it a couple good casts, let it go down through that deep spot, and see if there's a fish that wants to play. You can tell I'm probably touching bottom because my bobber's going nice and smooth and slow through there. As much as I love that spot, I think I've only hooked one fish there in my whole life. Alright, all you guys out there that are asking me about this line, this is the J braid ×8. Oh, it's very smooth. Haven't had any problems with it. So far I'm in love with this braided line. I don't know if you can barely, can't even hear my fingernail scratching it. Cast smooth, reels, and I haven't had any rat's nest with my line yet on this rod or reel. Usually rat's nest is pretty easy to handle, you just straighten it all out, but it's nice when it just is obedient. It'd be a good name of a fishing line, obedient line. Does what it's supposed to do. I guess I want to give a quick shout out to one of my subscribers out there. on my last video where I caught that fish. He called me out for not bonking the fish before bleeding it out, and he's right. You know, that other fisherman was just pointing out that that's a sign of respect, that you're not bleeding them out. You got to bonk them first. I guess it's a little bit ticky-tacky, but I can totally see his point, and that's normally what I do. So I appreciate you pointing out when I do something wrong, or if I have a fault there that I should have fixed. Got my bonker with me today, so I wonder if anybody else, what are you guys' thoughts on bonking them before bleeding them, if that matters? I guess I could see though that it is more respectful to the fish to knock them out and then bleed them. So let me know what you guys think. All right, boys and girls, sure done a lot of talking in this video. Sorry if you just wanted an action fishing video and all I'm doing is catching fish. That's not this video. But I guess it's maybe a little bit more educational. At least we're opening up the conversation a little bit. So fishing really low water, even though the water came up a foot, it's actually still lower than when I was here last time. So just doing my best, see if I can get a bite somewhere. First cast in this riffle. Like pro tip number 604. I always say, if you don't succeed on the first try, do it again. The same color bead, nice little creamsicle bead. I like that color. Ooh, that was something. Might have been fishy there. We'll go upstream 3 steps here. I think there's a little better angle on all this. Interesting. Dang, that was interesting, guys. Dang it, that was good. That looked fishy big time. Okay. Look at that. Something grabbed that baby. This is driving me kind of nuts here. I keep getting smacked with no fish. I'm doing the bead method. A little glass bead to hold it up above. It's doing a pretty good job, but every once in a while I'll get something that smacks it and it just messes it up. That's the spot right there, man. I've been hitting a lot. Just gonna try something a little bit different for them. Put something down there in their little kitchen table. Yeah, that's in a good spot there. Yeah, if I don't catch any fish here, I think I might try one more spot and then take off. Okay, so I was running the very far side right down here, and right before that grass coming out of the water, it's about 5 feet this way, had a nice takedown. Was on the bead. Ran the bead through there another time or two, didn't get any hookups, so I'm switching. Maybe now that I know that there's something sitting there, maybe an egg. Nice little eggy. I won't kill him with a huge egg, but just a little guy like that. Maybe just right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, look at that bad boy. Yeah, that's gonna be biteable. That's debatable. Go get you some ship on the bobby, mate. Here we go. Good over on that far end where I was. Yeah, right through that hole. Oh, that's where it was. Dang it. Must have moved. Alright, we got some fresh fresh eggs. Going into the river, trying to tempt up a fish. Doesn't matter how good your eggs are if there's no fish there. You know, I've caught fish with my eggs, so I'm starting to wonder if I'm just spinning my wheels with no fish. So deep it's going to hook up on the root systems of these things. Yeah, baby. Oh, that was a fish. Sucked me sideways. Dang it. Dang it, that was a fish. That's all it could have been. He stole everything from me. He's a robber, a bait robber. Well, at least you guys got to see me get some bites. A little bobber down I missed. Like those crack dealers, now they've got a little taste of my supply. It'd be hard to resist it. They'll be sitting there scratching and itching their faces and waiting for me to cast a little dime bag at them. Look at that bad boy. Ooh, dang. Well, same spot, no bobber down that time. What in the world? That was a legitimate fish. Alright, I guess I'm done for the day. I won't mind being done. Alright guys, so the best part about going fishing and not catching anything is, for me anyways, it keeps the challenge there, it keeps it alive. If not, it'd be kind of boring if you caught fish every time. So all those guides out there that have basically made that their career, I don't know how you guys do it, catching fish every day. I know it's fun to catch fish, but I can tell sometimes that it gets a little bit boring catching all the time. Thanks for watching, you guys, watching my show. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, I would appreciate a subscribe. And if you are subscribed, you know, it'd be really helpful if you wanted to share. Maybe one of your friends or buddies that isn't already on the channel, have them check it out. Maybe they'd like it too. So appreciate that. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe out there.